In this video, I'm going to show how to install packages from two main repositories, CRAN and GitHub. Let's go to our studio and show you how you would install a package from, for example, CRAN. By default, the function install the packages would install packages from CRAN if you have not changed any setting. So you could install a package like FS, for example, or the package pack. Pack is a package that allows you to install other packages in a way very similar to install.packages and more. So I'm going to install pack itself to demonstrate and advertise that package so you can use it. So this might take a little while, so it's probably time to point you to the tools that we're going to be talking about next. Next, we're going to be talking about installing packages from GitHub, and in this we are talking about R packages. So anyone can create and store a package on GitHub, and those packages can live in either public or private repositories. For public repositories, generally there is no problem. You can use just about any tool and it will just work. The most common tool as of today is a function called install_GitHub that comes from a package called remotes. You may also see it in a package called DevTools, which is an indirect way of using actually the one that comes from remotes. So the link points to the documentation of those functions, so you may read that if you need to know how they work and maybe learn some details. But actually I'm going to close the other window here. In general, what I'm going to show you now should be enough. So basically, on GitHub, let's go to somewhere on GitHub. There are some packages that you are welcome to install. So let's go to a public one that I know. For example, R2DAI data is a package that lives on CRAN, but it also lives on GitHub. So here it is, the package, and we can use this part of the URL, which is the owner component and the package name component, copy that, and that's all you need for the tool install_packages to work. So this session is busy, maybe it's taking a little longer than usual because my internet connection might be slow, so I'm going to pop up another instance of our studio to demonstrate the tool install_packages. Our studio is triggered, but it's also taking a little while to pop up. Maybe it's a bit too early for my computer today. Oops, that wasn't nice. I'm going to pop up a terminal if that works, because it's faster. So in that terminal, I'm going to type R to launch an R session. Instead of using our studio, I'm now using R from the terminal. So all I wanted to show is that you can use the function from the remotes package. You can use it like this, install_GitHub, and here is where you give the name of the owner of the repository and the name of the repository itself. And this is how you install that package. So as I said before, this is one way in which you may see the function install_GitHub being called, or like this. So the tools is a package that re-exports the tool that comes from remotes. So this is another way in which you would see it. And finally, you may also see that it is that first the package is attached as usual, something like this. And now once you have the tools, you can simply do install_GitHub and paste the URL that points to the owner and repository that you want to install. So that's it. So then you just run that command, skipping. Okay, so the reason why this is not working is because the package is detected on my system. It's already installed, so it's saving me the time. But I could say force equals true if I want to reinstall it. on top of itself, and that's not working. So the other tool I wanted to demonstrate is that from the package. So let's do it here too. I'm gonna run R again. Now a little bigger. So let me clear this up with Ctrl L. So the package contains a function called pkg_install that you can use to install packages from CRAN, for example FS, or from GitHub, for example R2AI data. Right. So depending on the format of this string, if it has the format owner repo, it will be installing from GitHub, and if it has only the repo component, it will be installed from CRAN. This particular package actually lives in the two places, so this could work, but now I want to demonstrate how to use this function to install from GitHub. So let's do just that. pkg_install quotes the name of the repo on GitHub, and that should do the trick. Let's give it a second. So there you see how it's working. Okay, so install packages from GitHub with the package, install packages from GitHub with the remotes package or with DevTools, and install packages from CRAN simply with install.packages, right? So that covers the first part of this video, and the second part is talking about some tweaks, some little details that might kind of come useful at some point. So let's go back to the document to point to them. So first is the idea of setting up where the packages that you want to install from CRAN actually come from. So the main repository of CRAN packages is this one, cranrproject.org, and that's fine, and it is fast for Mac and Windows users most of the time. But this other repository, one hosted by RStudio, is fast for also Linux users, and for it works also as well for Mac and Windows users. So I'm gonna click here on the setup button to make sure that I get the instructions to set this up on my computer. So here's where you have to tell this website which system you're using. I'm using Ubuntu, so this would work for me. But if you're using something different, you can choose it from here. So in my case, this is the system that I have. So if you scroll down all the way, you will see this copy button. So this is where you have to copy, and just follow these instructions. They recommend adding this to the rprofile file. So this is what we are gonna do to set up this particular repository. That is the one that I recommend. It's not compulsory, but it's pretty useful. How you do that? Okay, so you need to open that rprofile file, and one way to do it is whether you use this package, edit_rprofile will do the trick for you. You run that, and a file here will pop up. For you, most likely this file will be empty, will look like that. If you haven't added anything yet, and then you simply paste the code that you copied from there, save the file, and close it. That's all you need to do. And once you restart your R session, that repository will be automatically used to get packages from that specific address. Okay, that's all. And finally, I wanted to talk about some cases in which installing packages from GitHub may not work unless you have done these steps. So some packages are R packages but contain code that is not written in R and needs to be compiled in a particular way so that your computer can understand it. For that to happen, your computer has to have some software installed that is not necessarily an R package. In the case of Linux, your computer already comes with those tools. In the case of Macs, you can check, with the function DevTools has developed. But if you don't have it, then here there are some instructions how you can get the tools that you need. For Windows users, I don't think you have that by default, but this is the software that you need to install. So follow these recommendations, go here to that website and download the installer. So that would make your environment one that is able to work with this special type of packages that have code that is not written in R and needs compilation. So with that, you would be able to install packages from GitHub, any package from GitHub, not only those that have only R code. So that is all that we need to cover. So this one last recommendation may be something that you leave for later, and maybe you don't want to do it right now, and you'll be fine likely for a long while. But at some point, if you are stuck trying to install packages from GitHub, maybe that's the reason why. Maybe there is one last thing I should mention is the idea of installing packages from GitHub from a private repository. For that, I strongly recommend the package pack as opposed to remote, and use the instructions that I showed you before. But that will only work if you have what's called a GitHub token. How you create one? Token, create GitHub token. So the function use this create GitHub token would create a token for you. It will give you, well, actually I'm going to copy this address on a different web browser, one that comes from here, for example. That will pre-populate a website. Here you have to describe what that token is for, something like, I know, I usually add the date, July 30, and the use case is a demo on, I think, malware. That will do. This token will expire in 30 days, but you can change that to, for example, no expiration if you want, and click here on generate token. So that will do just that, generate basically a token. Is like a password. You need to copy it and save it somewhere safe that you can recover later. It's a private information. I usually store it in my passwords manager. Then on our studio, you can use the function git creds set. So that will give you instructions to basically paste that token that you copied in the R console, and it will be stored and reused whenever it's needed. For example, when you call that function package install with a private link to a GitHub repository, in that case, that token will be automatically discovered and used. That's all you need to know for now. See you in the next video.